Hey,
All
Hey,
right. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday to you. I think it's Monday in most parts of the world right now. The EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting is coming up November 1st through 3rd in Austin, Texas. So today I wanted to give you a chance to meet some of our partners that are helping to make this event a reality. If you haven't heard about it before, what I'm talking about is the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting, and it is the business conference for you, for entrepreneur architects. In fact, it's the first ever live conference that's dedicated just to small firm entrepreneur architects. I started this live stream series related to this conference a couple of months ago, all the way back in August, so that I can introduce to you all of our speakers and preview their talks. And now, as I said, I'm bringing our partners into the mix, which is a lot of fun, getting to know the people that help make events like this a reality. So, good morning. My name is Jeff Eccles. I'm the Vice President of Community Engagement at EntreArchitect, the world's largest community of entrepreneur architects. I'm also the host of Context and Clarity Live. Today, I'm joined by Jonathan and Gary Reisman. They're design and real estate professionals. They're co-founders at Modwell, and they're based in New York. So first of all, guys, thank you for partnering with EntreArchitect on the upcoming conference, and thank you for joining me today.
awesome.
you're welcome. Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you here. Um, I'm really excited. We've been talking. For those of you that you don't get to see backstage when we're talking before we go live, but I'm really excited to hear more about what we were talking about before we went live. But as we head in that direction, as you know, and as I know, and all of our community knows, basically everything we do is about the people and it's about the relationship. So why don't we start the conversation with who are you, what do you do, and why do you do it?
All right.
Well, we're a father-son team, so
That's fun.
that's fun. And why don't you go through your background and I'll go through mine.
Sure. My name is Jonathan Reisman. I am a co-founder of the company Modwell, which we run together. And before that, I was formally trained at Syracuse Architecture, did a dual in real estate, found my way into Manhattan real estate development. And then we saw a white space in single family residential real estate that we ultimately built a platform for. And we'll go into that in a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm Gary Reisman. I funded this guy's architectural
Degree.
education and degree. So we're capitalizing on that. But my background is years on the advertising and brand marketing side, and worked at many of the large advertising agencies, WPP, IPG, managing brands like Marriott Hotels and American Express, and then worked in strategic marketing at Turner Broadcasting, followed by opening and managing a couple of my own businesses in media. And the two of us come together because real estate and almost everything these days is a combination of design and marketing. And so it's a good combo.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things about the modern architecture school. I see this. I teach a little bit. I've been involved through AIA and other sources in some of the academic institutions. And I'm seeing more and more the design and the real estate and the construction coming into the School of Architecture. So that gives me hope that we're headed in the right direction on the academia side, because I think, as you said, this tie between design, construction, development, how did we think that we could pull these things apart and play all these different roles, or teach all these different roles, or run all these different roles separately? So as we were talking before we started, you were starting to explain to me a little bit about what Modwell is and why you do it. Can you, for our audience, I see Chris has joined us from Massachusetts. He's over on YouTube. Good morning, Chris. Great to have you here. And anybody else, let me do this, because Chris usually shows up on the on the Facebook side, but he's on YouTube this time. So perhaps there's an issue over on Facebook. If you're on Facebook right now and you're commenting away and going, hey, why aren't my comments showing up on the screen like Chris's are? I put a URL in the lower left-hand corner of the screen right now. Open up a separate browser window and type this in, chat.restream.io/FB, like Facebook, chat.restream.io/FB, as in Facebook. Facebook has privacy policies which don't allow your name and your likeness and your comments to come out unless you give it permission. If you go there to chat.restream.io/FB, a couple of clicks later, you'll give that necessary permission and your comments can show up from Facebook on the screen here. If Chris says no issue, he's already in YouTube.
Facebook's messing everything up.
He's one of our regulars here, so it's great to have him. And for anybody that wants to join us, you're welcome to join and ask any questions. Join this conversation as we go. We'll be going here for maybe 20 or so more minutes, and we're going to learn more about Modwell. So if you guys can kind of give us a little bit more about how'd you start Modwell? Why'd you start it? What are you doing with it?
Yeah, let's tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Which is it's a platform made for real estate agents to help them sell properties. It's
with design intelligence. We were talking about this, and in that the marketplace has really changed since the listing platforms were updated back in the early 2000s. 2006, Zillow came out.
Yeah.
And the Zillow and all the listing platforms that have come out that follow that are basically two things: pictures of the existing home and some written data about that home. And the issue is that most of the homes today are outdated. And there are 65% in the United States are 25 years or older, or there's a housing shortage, so they're in development. So the issue is that it's rare that an agent has a gem, and on top of that is this audience definitely knows I'm not an architect. I'm a marketer, but so I fall into this camp more than Jonathan does, is that people cannot visualize, buyers cannot visualize what the house could be like, even if agents tell them, that if you paint this wall or knock it down, they can't visualize. And so that's part of the reason why we exist.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you wanted context on how it started or why we did it.
Yeah, let's hear it. How did it start?
So after I went and got my education, I was trying to find a place in which these two worlds came together, real estate and architecture, right? And so in today's world, that looks like vertically integrated development, right? And so I was working for a multifamily developer in Manhattan, and they stuck me on a giant project, 60-story new development, and I was kind of working there. And what I realized was, wow, this is really great. I get to get exposure across all of the different verticals, but damn, 5 years to see this thing built, this is killing me. And so I started looking at single family residential as the place for me in my career. And in doing so, we noticed something, which is the fundamental underlay to our business and our platform, which is that people were buying houses from real estate agents that don't have any design intelligence. And then they're moving into them and wondering, what can I do with this? And then, of course, going to architects independently of contractors. And it was just a real mess, right? And so we ultimately built a platform that brings that design intelligence to the forefront of your buying process, so that you're not just buying the house from the real estate agent and saying, okay, I guess I'll give it a go. We're trying to help bring that design intelligence before, and then once they buy it, they buy with confidence, and now they feel empowered to move into a project or speak to an architect or move forward in some way. And so that's the underlying reason.
Yeah. And, we were, the other thing that's happened in the market is HGTV and shows like that for the past 20 years have basically trained the public to think that their real estate agent is going to start pulling out a pad and start redesigning the home for them. And so there's a mismatch between what they expect to get from their real estate agent and what the real estate agent can deliver. And then of course the technologies have come to the forefront, where including design intelligence to the listing is possible. And we do it in a very fun, dynamic way with video and 3D design and all that type of stuff.
HGTV ruins everything. That's true. But yeah, that's how it started, and that's kind of the underlying context for it.
Yeah.
I figured the HGTV comment would strike a nerve, because it's, we were talking before we went live about some of the pains, right? And you've identified these, you're familiar with them, but there are a lot of architects, especially in the residential world, that say, hey, why are these homeowners, why are these potential clients going to contractors first? That complain about, hey, I've got someone that showed up and they watched HGTV, so they have this skewed version, this alternate reality that they're coming from into a real life project. So when you say you're bringing design intelligence to the process, what does that mean for somebody like Chris, who does not exclusively, but he does residential design and
Sure.
renovation? What does it mean for somebody like Chris?
Sure. So we've created a unique design bundle, which brings together video animations, 3D models, 360 tours, traditional renderings, and things like that, right? And so we've created a unique bundle that we can place on top of any listing in the market. And then basically, depending on, again, the context of each listing, we could help somebody understand general realms of possibilities that they can get excited about, right? And so that could look like a 3D model that shows the before and the after of an interior, or a 3D model of the exterior with new facades, like new materiality, basically all of the things that you guys as architects are used to doing, but the general public doesn't see behind the curtain. We've brought to a real estate listing platform, so they get to interact with it in real time.
Right. I mean, our job is to help the agent inspire the buyer, right? There's a disconnect, which I find fascinating, between a real estate agent and a buyer. This always fascinates me. So a real estate agent is there to sell what they have, right?
Right.
And that's it, right? They've got this thing. It's got 3 bedrooms. It's it's laid out the way it is, and that's what they're there to sell, right? But the buyer is thinking about, how does this work for me and my family in the future? So a huge disconnect between what they're both looking at that same property for,
Yeah. And Chris's answers, yes, we collaborate in markets with different professionals to do a round of due diligence, and we create possibilities that way, and then basically help the buyers move into houses with confidence. And then after that, whatever they want to do moving forward, should they want a connection through us or have their own resources, they can do that.
Yeah, I mean, important to be part of this organization for us is what Jonathan just said, just to highlight exactly how we might work with people, is we reach out, we work in multiple markets across the country, and we reach out to agents in each market when we get a project, if we needed to do due diligence, rough guidelines.
He means architects.
Architects, I'm sorry. We reach out to architects to get due diligence, right? And then we frequently get asked by the real estate agent and or the buyers for an introduction to an architect, right? And we have no desire, it's not part of our business model to take on the post work. So it's a great opportunity for us to partner with architects across the country to be able to hand off projects and have relationships with them that we feel comfortable in recommending them.
Yeah. Jeff, I don't know if we had a question that we went on top of.
Oh no, no, I think that's really starting to get into exactly where we wanted to go, right? How does it? Well, let me back up, because I like, something you were saying a couple of minutes ago, Gary, I think, was this idea of empowering buyers, because you were talking about that disconnect, and I started thinking about that. Is fascinating, right? The agent is selling the inventory, but yet if I'm looking to buy, it's not like I'm buying a pair of jeans or a car or something like that. I'm looking for something that all of us, I think everybody that buys a house is wanting to modify it somehow, mold it somehow to fit our lifestyle or needs or whatever. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's a whatever, but how is this going to help me accomplish my goal of entertaining or whatever it is, right? And post or whatever we call this, related to COVID, living and working and schooling and all of those types of things. I think that home is one of the most modified, commodities, I suppose, that we buy. So I, as you were saying it, like I said, you were saying that, I'm thinking, yeah, that is an interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
disconnect.
people walk in and, what are they looking for? I've got 2 kids. They're in middle school or they're in elementary school, whatever. And then they're going to grow. I might have a 3rd kid. What happens when that happens? Will I be happy working here from home? How am I going to accomplish that? Am I going to be proud to bring my friends here? Am I going to be able to entertain? All these things that people think about, that's what they're thinking about. They're not looking at the 4 walls and thinking about exactly what the house is, unless it's perfect.
They have a long-term plan in mind, which comes with variable change. And so we help just illustrate that. And we even just did a project in California, Beverly Hills, and we presented 2 options. We said, here's for family and here's for entertainer, right? And basically it's not our job or the real estate agent's job to present a final design. Again, trying to get people to get inspired and say, oh, I can have an extended family in this location, and that's what this looks like, right?
Yeah.
So
that's it. And you're hitting on something that we talk about in this community a lot. It's when someone hires an architect, of course they say, hey, I want to design a home, or I want to renovate this home, or whatever the project is, whatever the type of project is. But what they're really getting at is the result. I want to be able to entertain. I want this to be the extended family home, or the live work home, or whatever it is. So we talk about the fact that architects really need to be selling the result, right? The thing that comes from this, not the 4 walls or 53 walls, whatever happens in this design. So I like this energy here. As we think about people like Chris and maybe Ricardo, shout out to Ricardo in Brazil. Glad you're joining us today. As we think about what they're doing, and to be clear, your clients, customers, whatever you call them, are really the real estate agents, right?
We specifically work with real estate agents, and by extension, we get introduced to their buyers. And our platform has profiles for both home buyers and for real estate agents. And when they buy a house, we help real estate agents with what we told you about. And then when they buy the house, we've built a 3D home vault where we can upload the resources in their vault. And then from there, they can do with what they want, right? And so we basically arm them with information.
Yeah, we allow them to upload their surveys and their designs, maybe their floor plans, and maybe even the architectural designs, and even a 3D model. And that
Mhm.
way, what they can do is, instead of playing this telephone tag and text tag with everybody that they're doing their designs with and contractors with, they could say, go to my profile. Everything's there, and we can collaborate starting with that as a starting point.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I mean, so basically what's coming out of this is someone who has purchased a home, and they're already informed and inspired and ready to take action.
Yeah, if you were in real estate, you'd call it a warm lead, right? Basically, it's
Sure.
like this guy just bought a house.
Yep.
He's inspired. He might do it now. He might do it later. But either way, he's looking for more information now, right? And that's it.
Yeah, it's an excellent way for an architect to start an introduction with somebody. They're
Mhm.
basically, at that point, they're raw. They're
Right.
buying the house.
Yeah.
They're inspired. They're starting to think about what they could do, and it's just a great time to be introduced to somebody, because they're open-minded.
Yeah. There's an
And
energy there.
yeah, and they may not do all the work. They may just start with something small, but we all know that, the minute somebody starts doing something, the next thing they want to do is something else, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's it's
That's
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, as we think beyond, the product itself, the platform itself, and we're looking towards this conference. It's now just basically a week away. I fly tomorrow, or fly a week
nice.
from tomorrow. Um, so, what's a piece of advice that you have for an entrepreneur architect as they're thinking about how they serve clients, how they find clients, maybe? But we've got a lot of entrepreneur architects that are headed to Austin, Texas for this conference to focus for 3 days on building a better business. What's one piece of advice that you have for them?
I guess for me, it's be open about trying new things, and meaning you never know where a piece of business is going to come from, right? And just to tie into the conference, which is interesting, but we just went to a real estate conference in Las Vegas in the summer, and we thought nothing of it, and we were just out grabbing drinks at a bar, and behind us was some really friendly person, and we connected, and that led to a project that we executed in California, right? And so that gave us our first entree into a California market, and now we're standing up the California market. And really, we didn't have any intention other than just to be a fly on the wall and see what was happening. But
Yeah.
you never know where you're going to meet somebody that's going to lead to the next thing. So just be open, I think, is mine.
Yeah. It's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it gets down to where you can enter into the person's life cycle. Like where is it the best time to get into somebody's life cycle? Typically, like what I've seen, just because we were doing some work as an architectural company for a little bit, but what we see is, you get into a situation where now you're bidding against 3 other people, right? Because you've entered the cycle already in the midst of it. And the earlier you can get in and start talking to people and just get to know them and build a relationship, and the longer that you could keep a relationship with someone, it's like those are the 2 sides of the spectrum where the business can really be built.
That's true. You guys architects in general are selling, home services on an average where people stay in their house on, 7 to 10 years. And so it's not like we're trying to, open up a restaurant and sell them a dinner in the market. It's like you need to really nurture a relationship over a long period of time.
Yeah, well, and that person is going to want referral business. I don't know what happened in the architectural business, but I do know, I was just reading this, that in the real estate business, 86% of the revenues come from referral business, right? And so it's really important for the relationship side on it, and being open to, even just being an advisor, even if there's not a project there to have right at the moment, doesn't mean that there won't be a project there
or an introduction to the friend or something. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, in my conversations over the years, I hear everything from say 60% all the way up to 97% of the projects in the pipeline are coming from repeat clients and or referrals. So it's right up there with that statistic that you saw about real estate. So yeah, that's also great advice. So where's the best place to connect with you? Where can they find out more information about the two of you and about Modwell?
Yeah, well, we'll be at the conference. I'll be there. I'm not sure if you're joining. So you could come on up to me and we could have a drink or a conversation, and then our emails.
Yeah, I think the best way to get in touch with us right now is through our email. Probably through Jonathan is probably the right place to go. Jonathan.Reisman@modwellco.com is the way to reach him. We're going to sign up architects as partners, right? And we're going to we're definitely going to have a space in the future where architects can be on the platform, right? And so, or where consumers can recommend an architect or an agent can. So that's going to be a really interesting way to partner with people, that want to get involved. We'll definitely give them an opportunity to promote themselves on the platform.
Love it. Love it. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to Jonathan and maybe Gary seeing you in Austin. So that'll be good too. And that brings up a good point. I mean, I mentioned this in just about every one of these conversations, but the way that this conference is designed is that it's a single track immersive opportunity. So you don't ever have to make a choice. Hey, Randy is speaking right now on personal development. Do I go see Randy or do I go listen to somebody else? You don't ever have to make that choice. We get to immerse and engage as deeply as we can and as we want to with each of our speakers and our sponsors. To my knowledge, just about everybody is going to be there for the duration of the conference. So you'll have time to hear and listen and do the activities, and et cetera, and also hang out with. I interviewed Randy Wilburn, one of the speakers, I think it was a week ago Friday, and he called it hang time. You'll have hang time with Randy and Jonathan and others, which I think is fantastic. This is designed to be an intimate conference where you get to engage with everybody to your heart's desire. So really looking forward to that. And so looking forward to meeting one or both of you when we get there. But this has been Gary and Jonathan Reisman. They're co-founders at Modwell, partners with us for the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting that's coming up in Austin, Texas next week, November 1st through 3rd. If you're an architect who wants to learn to build a business that allows you to practice the way that you want to practice, I know that that's a common thread throughout our community. Or maybe you're an employee of a firm and you aspire to practice in the way that you want to practice, to do it your own way. Go over to smallfirmconference.com. Find out more about our speakers, about our sponsors, find the schedule, register there, join us next week. Again, it's the first ever live conference that's dedicated just to you, just as small firm entrepreneur architects. So check it out. I promise that you won't be disappointed. This is going to be a fantastic time for all of us. Gary, Jonathan, again, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate you being here and sharing more about Modwell. Fantastic, interesting concept here. I'm looking forward to learning more about it and digging more into it. And again, thanks for helping us to make the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting a reality. Without people like you, we couldn't get this done. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's great to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Great to have you. And for everybody that's out there, Christian says those are huge M&Ms on your wall.
They are massive. They are massive.
And we got every color.
There you go. See, we have a little bit of an inside joke when we have our Context and Clarity Live guests. We say that we stock the green room with green M&Ms. So right there, right center right. Love it. Love it. That was not planned, by the way, everybody. So,
I don't know if I believe it, but that's good. That's funny.
All
Well,
right,
thank you for
everybody.
your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it, and appreciate all of you. I'm going to be back at 1 p.m., 1:15, I think it is, with Matt Forget, who many of you know. He and Kenya are they're not speakers; they're doing an activity with us at the conference. So Matt and I will talk here in just a couple of hours. Until then, I've got to run get some supplies for some contractors here. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all of you. Have a great day, a great week. Please be well, stay safe, find a little bit of time to breathe, relax, a way to rejuvenate. We do this every weekday. Got to pace yourself. So thanks for going along with this journey, with us. Gary, again, thank you. Jonathan, thank you. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks,
Great.
everybody.
Thank you.